Let's go. Okay, I think it's recording already. All right, so today I will be talking about understanding your food labels. I will do that briefly, then I will take, if time permits, I'm going to take a few questions or observations from the evaluations for the week 4. Okay, so we all go to this. We go for grocery shopping, we see labels on food. Many of us don't know what those labels mean. So I've been asked questions. Which one do I buy? Which one is good for me? Which one is not good for me? I'm also seeing people who are returning zero drop in weight. I'm seeing zero drop in weight. I'm seeing people who have not really lost as much as they should lose. One of the very few things we want to query at first is to examine again the source of what they are consuming. Right. That you are not eating cooked food does not mean that you are eating the right food. So I've said this again and again, and I'll say it one more time. Wisdom is that please look around where you live for a community where natural foods or organic farmers congregate, or where they meet or they do stuff together. If you live in Nigeria, for example, you can go as far as Nigeria, you see that don't have too many problems, but if you really want to have such communities of people, you may go as far as Abeokuta, you want to go as far as Ibadan, then you are traveling towards Oyo, and then if you have people who live in the areas like Akure, Ondo, Ekiti, you may find such. If you are from any other part of Nigeria, aside that place I mentioned, you are likely going to be able to source your food locally if you really want to, especially the major ones that you eat, right? All you have to do is just send a message home, and then somebody will be supplying you those things as when you need them. So if you live outside of Nigeria, go online. There are communities everywhere. I mean, somewhere close to you. It could be 1 hour drive, it could be 2 hours drive. There are always community of farmers who grow things in an organic way, in a healthy way. So you just have to just look out for them. You will find them. Some of them are growing to the point of having stores in cities, in town, where those things they bring the cost. Some of them are there are farmers market. I'm not saying it's all farmers market you go that you're going to get things that are organic. There are some farmers market that what they're bringing there cannot be vouched for, but you will still get those ones that are good. So you just go look for those ones. So for those of us who buy things again from stores and the likes of them, even in Nigeria, okay, this is going to be in 2 parts. This one is understanding your food labels. The next one is going to be understanding the numbering. There is a numbering pattern that has been adopted globally, and this numbering will help you to know which food is modified genetically. It will enable you to know which food even Adesua is locked out of this meeting.
Hey, that's serious.
Oh my word! Just 1 second. So it's the way it's programmed. Whoever doesn't submit evaluation form, even I have to submit evaluation form for me to be in this meeting. So if you never submit an evaluation form, it's programmed not to allow you in. All right, so you won't be able to come in, even if you have the link, you might not come in. Okay, so so there are numberings, and so in the next class, I'm going to talk about those numberings and how to easily identify them. If you go to the store, you pick an apple, you will see the barcode. Aside the barcode, there is the numbering. You'll find that numbering. That numbering is not just for entering, like when you want to do your self-checkout. It's not just for self-checkout. They are an indication of how that food has been raised and how it's been grown, right? So those are the things that we'll consider in the next class. But for today, we want to look at the food labeling and how you can decipher what's in your food and what you are eating and what you are buying. So why do we need to study food labeling? There is a lot of stuff going out there. I also know that in Nigeria, at least they've tried to introduce expiry date. We call it expiry date in Nigeria. Here, it's a bit different. It's not expiry date. They use by or best before. They will use by so date or best before so date. Anybody seen that? Anybody who can explain what that means? Yes, anyone? We all buy stuff now. What do you think it means when
use by
or?
Use by just means when the food is best with the nutrients, and so after that everything starts to deteriorate.
Is it in any way different from best before?
Yes. Best before means the peak of the nutrients, I think I got it the other way around, actually. Best before is the best. Yeah. And then use by, you have to use it, especially dairy food and things like that.
I would say best before is a shelf life at the store. Best before is a shelf life at the store, whereby we buy it from the supermarket. Then use by is when you buy it, then it's at home. So you have to use it before that particular date, if I'm not mistaken here.
Well, I think the first person was almost there. What you have just said right now further complicated it. So yeah, I think you further complicated it. Anybody who wants to give it a try?
I think best before is when the quality of the product is at its optimum. So say you have a packet of crisps, after the date on the best before, they might be a bit stale, but not necessarily gone bad. Use by is normally on fresh foods like meat and chicken and things like that. And I think it's advisable to stick to the use by. If it says don't use it after a certain date, I personally won't.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. The things you have said, like what the point you just raised right now is correct, it's true. The difference is just that one is talking about quality, the other is talking about safety. Right. So use by is talking about safety. Best before is talking about quality, at which time the quality of the food is no longer guaranteed. One is quality, one is talking about safety. Then we find also on the food labels, we find a list of ingredients that are used in producing that particular food, which is also an important thing that has to be on the food labels. Mrs. Billy Barua cannot enter. That's strange. That's very strange. let her quickly go through that form. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so we see list of ingredients. We see what the food is made up of, listed on the label. We see food additives, if there are, on the label. We have the nutritional information. What nutrients are you supposed to derive from consuming a particular food? You see nutrient claim, what does it do? Sometimes they give you the FDA recommendation. How much of this particular nutrient does the body require? What is the daily requirement for per person for this kind of nutrient? You find fats, sugars, and salts if there are in the food. And then it is compulsory that the allergens be declared on every food label. In Canada, it's even compulsory that restaurants, fast food joints declare whether they have used allergen or if the food had come in contact with allergens in their store, they put it at their door or on their menu. So if they have, and then they need to declare that. If not, somebody can sue them if anybody develop any allergic reaction after eating in their restaurant. Is the reason if you work in restaurants, they will tell you not to bring in your food into the place so that your own food doesn't come to contaminate what they are offering, so they don't become liable. The country of origin is stated, calories and energy is also stated, so you know what you are consuming. So why are we doing food labeling? It's for the first two reasons there above. It's for safety, it's for quality. It informs our choices. It tells us, it helps us to make informed choices on what we are buying. Unfortunately, not many people even know these things, so they don't make choices based on the food label because they do not know really. So they just buy. Once it is a fruit or a vegetable, they consume and they are going. But it's much more than that. So that's why I want to take this class so that we all can have an understanding of what we are purchasing each time we are making a purchase. Whether we are buying food, vegetables, herbs, supplements, these labelings are always there. So you can turn the back of the pack and look out for what is written. So it's going to guide and help you with the choices you make when you make these purchases. And then it also helps you to know the processes your food has gone through. Has the food been prepared, using chemicals? Have they added additives, colorings, preservatives? How was it grown? What agricultural method was used? Was it raised with fertilizers and chemicals? Was it raised with natural things, organic things? If there are animals, did they have antibiotics in them? Were they vaccinated? Did they inject the hormone growth factors in them? All of these are in labels. But if you don't know, you just buy and then you move on. But in every food that you buy, this information will be there. But if you don't know them, then you just omit them and then you are not sure what you are kind of ingesting. And then on the issues of additives, you find colorings, and one of the additives I will always tell you to run away from is the MSG, which also now has so many names. Even sugar has gotten so many names. There are certain metals too that are included in food that have gotten so many names. But under every food producer is under, they have an obligation to report on their labels what exactly is contained in what they are selling to the public, else they can be sued. Before they even get any permission to sell, it becomes important because like we have NAFDAC in Nigeria, that is the Food and Drug Administration Control. In America, it is the FDA. I don't know what it's called here in Canada. Sean, do you know what's it called in Canada? You don't know? I don't know what it's called either. But you know, the funny thing is that for many, you know, Canada and America, they share many things. One of it, I mean, they save costs. Whatever American government has passed, Canada has passed it. Then they have USDA, you know, but I don't know if Canada. I think Canada has another. They have a government organ that does that. If you check Canada.gov. Anyway, okay, so right. Okay, so let's begin to look at the labels that we will be considering. The first one is the non-GMO label. How many of us have seen something like this? There are quite a number of ways it can come, but you just see the right there, non-GMO. Some will have a different pattern, a different logo, but it will have non-GMO. How many of us have seen a non-GMO logo before? Abba. Smile to the camera if you have seen one. People are not smiling. Where are the Malians in this boot camp? Where is Jemima? She's not in school today. That's what Malians do. They don't take classes. Okay. All right. When we say food is non-GMO, it means that it is not made from genetically modified organisms. This became an issue of concern in the last 40 years when a company called Monsanto started modifying food, genetically. They started altering the genetic makeup of food. Monsanto is the most popular one. There are other ones that have come up. If you live in the United Kingdom, you are safe. Thank God for your life, because they were never allowed to enter into the United Kingdom. It's a US-based company. What they do is that they produce what is called Roundup. Roundup is like how do I explain Roundup right now? It's more than a pesticide. It's a scientific, very smart pesticide. If it's sprayed around anything, it's not only the pest or the weeds that they're trying to control that will die. Every other thing in the environment of that plant will die. The only thing that will not die is the specific seed which you are trying to protect. Every other thing around it will die. If you live in the US, constantly, there is hardly a month that you will not see an advert on TV calling for people who want to claim money after several years of eating food that have been grown by the Roundup, and now they have cancers, they have so many issues. So a lawsuit has just been won, so they want to give them their compensation. But how much money is it that can compensate for their health, right? So it was banned in several countries of the world. Unfortunately, about 5 years ago, it entered into Nigeria. We tried to do all we could to make sure that our legislators are well informed. The Minister of Agriculture by the time, who is now the president of the African Agricultural Development Bank, he was at the time the Minister of Agriculture. We reached out to him. He said he was too busy to read all the documents. What about his special assistants? They were also too busy to read. The law was passed. I mean, they entered into Nigeria and they passed the law on the floor of the Senate that if anybody comes up with any condition by consuming their food, they will not be liable. And it was passed. So there are farmers right now, especially sweet potato grown in Nigeria right now is GMO. There are many other seeds that have been distributed to Nigerian farmers that are GMO. There is a reason for us to, and there is no labeling. That is even the worst part of it. If you live in the UK and the US, they will label and let you know. But in Nigeria, there's no labeling. Who is labeling food in my 12? Is it Musa from Kano that is labeling food? Or who is labeling anything? So, I mean, these are the realities we are faced with, and that is the reason we want to push out information as much as we can, so that we can have more people enlightened and educated, And when the voice of the population is, is when you have more people speaking with one voice, we'll be able to address many of these issues. Okay. So when you find that label on any food, it means that it has been certified not to contain a genetically modified organism. It's not been modified genetically, and then it's found to be trustworthy because there is a group. It's called the Non-GMO. It's a not-for-profit organization. It's a project. So they have a website, Non-GMO Shopping Guide is there. You can click on it. They have an app. And on the app, when you have that app, you can actually scan. So when you get to your grocery stores, this does not concern Nigerians or people living in Nigeria, sorry. When you enter the grocery store, you see the scan on any particular food item.
It's not only Nigeria, it's African issue. So don't say Nigeria, it's the whole Africa.
It's not in all of Africa. I know that in South Africa, their food is, they label their food. In Egypt, the food is labeled. In Tunisia, the food is labeled.
In West Africa, I don't think so.
I don't know of anywhere, I don't know of any place in West Africa where the food is labeled. I don't know.
No, only Nigeria be bad belly, please.
So I know Nigeria very well that they've not done that. So I don't want to talk about other places where I don't know what they're doing there. Right. So, and I know there is nobody in this class from other African country. The only person you live in London, you don't live in Ghana. So you are not from a West African country. And the other person who is from Ghana, she had, there was a earthquake in Ghana last week. You heard about that?
Yes.
She went to me after she told me, because I just knew she wasn't in class and I had to go ask after. And she was like, earthquake, there was a tremor. I now went to read and I saw it that most African countries began getting scared for Ghana. There was a serious earthquake about 4.1 magnitude.
Yeah.
Right. So it affected people. I think it was even in Accra.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Accra. Imagine an earthquake of 4.1 magnitude in Lagos. And that's close. It's close by. And people are still saying climate change is not real. Okay, let's leave that. So you can check when you have the app, download the app. So you go to your store. When you see any food that has the label not GMO, you just scan from your app from the label. If it's true, the app will confirm it. If it's not true, the app will tell you it's not true. They're only lying. So, and if you find such in any store, I think also on the app you can report that store is putting on their shelf items that have been falsely labeled to be non-GMO. So it's not just something under labeled. There are measures in place to ensure that these things are followed. Okay, so we'll talk about another label is when you see the 100% organic. And what does that mean? It means that it has been grown or processed without synthetic fertilizers or pesticides. Now, there are natural fertilizers. I hope we all know that. There are natural fertilizers. Manure is one of them. Compost is also a natural way to fertilize the soil. If you remember the agric science you did, I know most of you right now, you grew up in cities, you went to schools that most of you never even carried cutlass. So you don't even know what agricultural science is. Those days when we were going to school, I'm not saying many people, there are some people here that this one I'm saying does not refer to them. But the Malians, I'm not sure those ones ever went to school with cutlass. But for those of us that went to school, we had cutlass, you had a farm. There's a school farm. And then they will apportion, they will give you a portion. Every student will have a portion where you can grow. You grow yam, you grow maize, you grow vegetables. Right. So you remember then that you will be told to carry compost or grass, dead ones, to cover certain things that you are planting. Those are natural ways of replenishing the soil, preparing it for planting. Those are natural, not synthetic. So we have synthetic fertilizer, the NPK 15-15-15. How many of us know NPK 15-15-15? When you hear Nigerian government distributing fertilizer, that is what they're distributing to our farmers. NPK 15-15-15, and that goes to the northern part of the country a whole lot because they believe that is a big base for Nigeria. There are so many farmers in the south as well who also get that. You know, it's a multi-billion, dollar project every year that the federal government. I think they changed that about 2-3 years ago. I don't know who changed. Maybe when Abajo became president again, I don't know, but they changed the way they distribute that thing somehow, so we use that for growing. So, but when you see any food that says 100% organic, it means they never use NPK 15-15-15. They did not use pesticides. You find pesticides a lot on cocoa products, which is why I will advise. I like to have what do you call Bonvita and Milo again? Cocoa product, yeah. What do you call them again?
Beverages.
Yeah, beverage, right? But there's a name. I mean,
hot chocolate.
Beverages.
Hot chocolate.
What kind of beverage is that now? Beverage is a very general term.
Hot chocolate.
Chocolate? Okay, good. Thank you. So I love that drink very well, a lot. Malian is about to enter the building. They come late for classes. If I thought they come. Okay, so if you are very big on chocolate, one of the dangers is that most of the cocoa plantations, they use pesticides because cocoa has been found to attract, it has a whole lot of problem with pests actually, and it could be very stubborn. So for the farmers to have a very strong yield at various stages of growing cocoa, a whole lot of pesticides are used, right? I would suggest you do Caro, and then, or you find something else. There are some other alternatives that will still be chocolate, that will be 100% organic, and then you can be sure of what method of preparation has been put in place. And then if there are animals, it means that the animals, when you say 100% organic on animals, it means no antibiotics have been used for them. I used to admonish people who live in Lagos and, Nigeria and the craze. If something is raining, you see every Nigerian will just jump on that bandwagon. When the craze for fish farming started in Nigeria, a whole lot of people began to learn. I think they're still doing it now. People go for the training, you buy the fingerling, some other things people buy, and then they begin to have the fish farms and all stuff like that. One of the things that is done is that they raise the fish with antibiotics. I've seen many of them. They just put them in a mix and throw them into the water for the fish to drink, and they can ingest them. It's dangerous. It's not different from when people are saying indiscriminate use of medication. That's like an indiscriminate ingestion of antibiotics. And you find people who have lost their lives because of that. For example, somebody is having typhoid, and the normal drug, what's that normal medication? It's not Ampliclos, or what's it again that they give to them for typhoid? I don't know. But it's the same medication they use they give to those fish in those fish farms. Catfish especially, you find, cat people who love to eat catfish, point and kill, whichever way they call it right now. So the person is having typhoid, they administer the antibiotics, it is going to work, not knowing that the person has been ingesting a lot of other antibiotics, so it doesn't work, right? Before they know what is happening, the person is packed up. But before they know it's not working, maybe 3 or 4 days will pass. And between 3 and 4 days, the whole thing is gone, it's packed up. So I advise against the consumption of, all those kind of fish raised in those fish farms. Growth hormones are not also used. I could talk about growth hormone forever and ever. Insulin-like growth factors. These are the growth factors used in making the animals to be fatter, to be bigger, and to lactate earlier than they would naturally. So when you find 100% natural, it means all of that did not take place there. Okay. The next one is hormone-free. I just spoke about that right now. So you'll find hormone-free. I know you won't find hormone-free on plants. You will find hormone-free on animals. It's the reason we want to cut out all the beef, cut out all the poultry, you know. And I will always say that, well, except you get the free range or you get the grass-fed. It's also important to get the hormone-free. So when you find the hormone-free, it means they were raised without hormones. So they allow them to grow naturally. In the case of foods or plants, you will find we talk about the non-GMO. One way to identify a GMO food is in their sizes. They are usually bigger than normal. You see an orange as big as the head of a newborn baby. That is no longer, I didn't abuse a newborn baby anyway. I just said it's as big as the head of a newborn baby. That orange is not natural. That has been modified genetically. Or you find oranges without seeds in them. If it doesn't have a seed, it means that it's seedless. Wherever you buy seedless apple, seedless orange, God never created any fruit without seed. He says every fruit containing its own seed. That's what he said in Genesis chapter 1. And so whenever you find any fruit without seed, it means it has been tampered with. It has been modified genetically. You don't want to go there, right? So that is for the case of plants. For animals, you want to check for hormone introduced there. So if it's hormone-free, it means there was nothing introduced. Then for plants, again, you will find another label, 100% certified grass-fed. 100% grass-fed. It means that these animals were fed with grasses, and grass was the primary source of food, not grains. There are those that are fed with grains, so they will write pasture raised on those ones. The pasture, raised from the pasture, so they were raised with grains. But grass-fed means not raised with grains at all. They were only raised with grass, 100%, all their lives. They were growing, and you see, when people say that this plant, they're telling you to eat leaves, how do you want to survive? How can you have muscle by eating leaves? The gorilla eats leaves. They don't eat meat. The horses are one of the strongest animals. Of course, you know they are beasts of burdens. They eat what? Grass. That's what they eat. Nothing more. And water. That's all they feed on. You can't give them beef or whatever, and they will take it. You know. So it's not true. So these animals, cows, look at how big and how massive the cows are. They're supposed to feed on grass. That's the way God made them, until humans begin to introduce some other things into the food to hasten the process of their development. Okay? I think that will be the last one for today. All right, so pay attention to all of those labels. Hope nobody don't ask me for this slide. As usual, some people say, can we have the slide? Okay. What time is it? All right, 12:47. That's my time, yes, 47 past 12. I know it's about 47 past 7 o'clock in some people's time. So, yeah, I think so. Any question from this? Okay, Sean, you got it. Canadian Food Inspection Agency with oversight functions from Health Canada. Yeah, CFIA. Why won't I know CFIA? Can you imagine? I work with CFIA, so I should know CFIA now. I'm surprised. Okay. All right. Are you trying to form that you went to Yellow Seminar? Okay, any question from anyone before I go to the evaluation forms for this one? Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Atinuke?
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about apart from the food labeling, where you have those bars, the green, yellow, red bars on the food.
I said I would deal with that in the next class.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned it, the numbering system on the barcodes. So I'm going to deal with that in the next class because that's also extensive. So I can't cover that up in a single class. Because like I'm saying a lot of things and many escape because people will still come back and ask me questions over them. So I want to limit them to small bits that we can assimilate at once. I have forgotten that not everybody here is still in school. Malian. Oh, she's not in class. Is she not in class?
I'm in class.
Okay. So it's confirmed. Okay. Okay. No, okay. No hala. Any other question? Okay. If there is none, then I want to. Is Mrs. Grace Davis in class?
Yes, I'm in the class. Yeah.
All right. Oh, your Galaxy A70. Okay. What happened? Did you complete the evaluation form for week 3?
For last week, I didn't.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't.
So and you did not did you complete for week 4?
Oh, last week week 4, I didn't complete.
No, sorry, week 2. Sorry, week 2. Did you complete for week 2?
Did.
You did for week 2?
Yes, I only missed last week's one.
Okay, so what was your weight in week 2?
108. No, week 2. Yeah, 108.
108. Okay.
Yeah.
Second. Wow. My computer is tired. It's been working since the last 12 hours. Look. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I know. We're gonna get out of here very soon. I also want to check out this. Okay, I found it. Is Mrs. Bola is in class, I think. Wow. Was she able to make it? Mrs. Bola,
some of my apples didn't get their link. And I know that only one person in our group did not fill an evaluation form.
And they didn't get the link? Did they contact Adesua? I guess.
I'm here. I just contacted her actually. I didn't get a link, but I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, because we already put the message up there for people to contact her to get the link.
I did have her number.
Okay. Her number is there. She put the information on there on the general WhatsApp group for people to contact her. So again, I know that Mrs. Billy Barrow, I guess she filled the form for week 3, not for week 4. I guess that's why she did not get, she didn't get the link. So let's ensure that we fill the appropriate form and not just any other form we find there. All right, so Mrs. Bola Olusoya, can we see your face? Are you busy?
Sorry, you can't see my face today. I'm lying down.
All right, it's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, it's okay. I'm going to ask you 1 or 2 questions, right?
Yes.
You already weigh 68 kg.
Yes.
As at this week, right?
That's right.
What's your desired goal?
60.
Why? How tall are you?
I am 5'7".
What?
5'7".
5'7"?
Yes. Oh, sorry, 5'6".
Are you still visible?
I am still visible, very visible.
Because even now that we cannot even see your face, and you are 68. I do think at 68, 5'7", 68 seems to be pretty okay for 5'7".
Okay, I'm gonna sit up. I'm gonna show my face, but okay. This is me.
You're almost disappearing now.
I am not.
Well,
it's not really my weight. It's basically it's eating healthy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I know I've been very good with my weight over the years. I don't eat a lot. I do exercise. I take an hour walk every day.
Right.
But I eat a lot of fruits. I don't eat a lot of vegetables. So I try